How are you today? All right, we are going to talk about six positions, all right, that are great for orgasms, right? Studies have studied so many different orgasm positions, right? But the six that they really love are these six here that we have: missionary, cowgirl, rear, missionary raised, spoon, and sitting. So this is what they found, that these are the six preferred positions for the orgasm. Okay? Now, remember the Kama Sutra? The Kama Sutra has over 64 positions, and they've been around for over 2,000 years. So make sure you get that book and look at them, because I'm just going to look at six, and I want to focus on the ones that really enhance the chances of you having that orgasm. But the other ones are very interesting too. So I want you to be aware of them. Please get that book. They're amazing. All right. I really do encourage you to get those books and find those positions that will work for you. But we know that a lot of women, a lot of couples generally settle down to a few positions, not too many. But if you try it, you like it, add it on from, of course, the Kama Sutra book. But again, we know that you will settle down on a few positions based on what you're going to get from it in terms of stimulation. So your um, choice of positions in terms of sexual positions really comes from who is in control, right? So you've got to know when you're in a certain position, who is in control. Now, there are difficult decisions sometimes that come into play, but it should go with the flow. Shouldn't be an argument. Shouldn't be something that you're saying you want to be in charge. You want to be in charge. No, this is more of just knowing once you're in that position, there is someone who is in control, either the man or the woman. Okay, so if you're going to be in a position, I'm going to sort of show you the six here, but sort of learn from that position who is in control. If it's you, just by virtue of being in the position, you're going to be the person that takes charge, and you're going to make sure that the person is being stimulated and receiving great rewards from your efforts, right? And if you're now not in charge, then the other person is going to be the person that's taking the lead and playing the role of stimulating you, right? So just be aware there are certain positions that, without a doubt, are known to be either the man in charge or the woman in charge. Again, we'll talk about that in a minute. You also want to know who can um, uh, sort of like choose those positions. For example, you'll find that you prefer one over the other, despite the fact that you're not getting orgasms from them. So even though you have a few positions that you choose for yourself, you and your couple, you'll find that you really don't really orgasm sometimes, okay? Now, this is still very well studied, and you can still get a lot of women that have orgasms from this, but be aware that a lot of women have to do extra stuff to get that orgasm, including toys. And most of the patients or the studies do show that you are really having the knowledge of what you prefer from the beginning. You already know, oh, I prefer this position and that position. And again, communication, you let your partner know that you are preferring one position over the other, because of course you know your body, and your partner should actually partake and understand. But again, there are other positions to try apart from these. I encourage you to do so, but let's find out which of these positions do what, okay? All right, so we have the missionary position, okay? So this is where the male is on top and the female is laying down with her legs open, all right, wide apart. Very important, because in this case, there's deep penetration, and the female or the male can stimulate the clitoris, right, in this particular position. I'm going to encourage you to understand that the missionary position is one of the most common positions. It's been around forever, right? And we know that in this particular position, who's in control? The man is in control, right? Now, usually this is something that you'll find can be modified. Okay. And we are going to talk about two modifications. One, if you're on your side, you can have face to face engagement and still have that missionary type of interaction where you're on the side and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to face each other. Women that are between 41 and 60 prefer that face to face on the side. I think it's also for ease. So that's a modified missionary. And then we have the missionary raised, where your hips are raised and your thighs are actually on your abdomen, on your stomach, and the male's on top. Again, the missionary, even though they are modified, you're going to still see that the male is still in control. And you'll see here that her hips are raised, her thighs are on her abdomen, and her legs are open or closed. It all depends on which position you want in this case. But this is the modified missionary raised, okay? So you have the missionary position, then you have the cowgirl or reverse cowgirl or, rider, riding. And you'll see that the female is in charge, right, this time. So we get to call the shots here. So this is implied that when you are on top, ladies, that you are in control. So you're going to take things into your hands and you're going to go crazy and do things to, again, stimulate your partner and yourself, of course. But remember, yeah, some people do use that for themselves, but this is really more of control and the guy, the male, having more of a relaxed position and not of a control position while you are in the control doing most of the stimulation. So again, this is implied that this is our position when we're doing more of the work with the cowgirl, but in the missionary, the man's doing more of the work. Okay? And again, there's nothing wrong with this. You can always switch it up, switch positions to change control, but just be aware it is something that you want to know so that when you're in the position, you sort of know what to do once you go into that position. Okay, so that's the cowgirl. And we see that she is sitting on top of him, and her legs can be either kneeling down or on the front. And again, you can reverse, turn around, and she's facing the other way, which means that her back is towards his face. And again, that is a modified cowgirl. And of course, you can do all sorts of different stimulations for yourself and for him in that position. Then we have the rear position where the woman, the female, is prone on her knees and he is coming from behind. Again, you can see that he is in charge, though the woman can get in between the legs and get some sort of control there, but it's not the total control. It's just some control there by some manipulations and some stimulation. But again, this is normally a male position that puts the woman more of getting stimulated and the male doing more of the work. Okay. The missionary raise we just talked about. Male is still doing more of the work. It's just a modified missionary. The spoon, you're on your side. She's in front. He's behind. This one is more or less him doing more of the work. But again, you have different options here. You can stimulate yourself when he's doing the work from behind. It's harder for him to get in front to do the work and stimulate, but yes, you can do that when you are in the spoon position. The male can come in front and with his hands stimulate the woman also to help her enjoy the possibility of getting that orgasm and help her enjoy the sexual stimulation, okay? And yes, I said the man is in charge here. Sitting, isn't that interesting? People do sitting, female and male, facing each other. Your legs are intertwined and they can be intertwined in different ways. You actually will have an equal opportunity here to see who's in charge. So it can be you, the female, it can be him, the male, and you guys could just go back and forth, which is why I think this is a fun position to be in. But remember, it's not known who's in charge. It can be both of you at different times. Or, you can actually at the same time do things equally because this is more of a neutral position. There's really no way of saying what you're going to do. So depending on what you're doing there, you can both be in charge at the same time, which is not usual with the other ones. The other ones is more one or the other, but this one is actually unique in that it can actually be both of you at the same time, okay? So whenever you think of these positions, you're really trying to maximize stimulation of your either clitoris, your vagina, deep vagina, or your cervix. Okay? So with the missionary, you're going to probably be stimulating your clitoris externally, manually. You can use a toy also. But generally, this position is deep vaginal stimulation, right? So you're trying to get those either use, yeah, the use spot you can get depending on how you again move, right? So if you're gliding or rocking or angling, you want to try to do that in that missionary position. We talked about that before, I think yesterday or the day before, so I can go back to my talk from before on how to move. Very important to move in this position, okay? And so when you're in this missionary position, you're actually more aiming towards the cervix and deep vagina. And you want to more or less add the clitoral stimulation, which is why I think people like this a lot. Okay. Over here we have the cowgirl, and the cowgirl will have the clitoris being stimulated because again, she's in control, she's on top, and she's probably doing that while being penetrated with his penile intercourse there, and she can do also the things again, toys and do things to help stimulate, and he also can because his hands are free, so that's another great position. And if it's reversed, same thing, you can do the same thing. But again, there are movements there that will help the stimulation of the deep vagina and the cervix and the clitoris. Again, so these are all movements that you have to add to the position, right? That will enhance your getting those erogenous zones. Rear is usually trying to get again to that G spot, which is 1 to 2 inches anteriorly. So when you are laying on your back, it's 1 to 2 inches up, right? You go in. So when you're on your rear position where you're prone, sitting, or laying down with your legs either flat or bent, you're going to be able to get to that G spot by having that position aimed towards the G spot. So you're going to get to that G spot. That's where you want to do when you're doing the rear position. Okay. Missionary raised, very similar to the missionary, but again, you can get deeper access when you raise the hips and flex the thighs onto the abdomen. You can actually get deeper. So really a great opportunity to actually get a wedge pillow and put that there. They have also some wedges you can buy and get support to actually get deeper penetration. And again, you can also stimulate the clitoris to help with again, all the erogenous zones and the other erogenous zones, can also be stimulated. Spooning, which is a spoon, you're going to find that you are definitely getting either the O spot or the A spot. Now, can you get to the G spot? Less likely, I think, but you're really wanting to get more of the, if you can reach the hands, if his hands can reach over and stimulate the clitoris at the same time as vaginal penetration, again, deep vagina penetration. Getting to the cervix might be harder this way. To get to the cervix definitely is going to be cowgirl and missionary raised. And rear can also, of course, get to the cervix too. Spooning, probably not as easy because you're on your side, so you don't have gravity to help you, but a lot of people will do this when they're either in some discomfort or in some sort of, just slow rhythm that they want to take it easy. And then the spooning becomes a little bit more focused on just the vaginal stimulation and the different vaginal zones, okay? Sitting is more, again, you can use your hands for the clitoral stimulation, and it's going to be more whether he's holding you or whether you're sitting higher or lower, and whether it's going, up or down, side to side, again, or you can even reverse it by turning around. So that sitting position can get definitely deep vaginal penetration. Now, notice again, like I said, that these are not guaranteeing you to get orgasms because you've got to do extra stuff, right? Involve the clitoris. But a lot of people do get orgasms from this, and studies show that the missionary position is the most common position to get your orgasm, okay? The cowgirl is the second common position to get your orgasm, and the rear entry, the rear position, is the third most common way to get your orgasm. All right. So just know, studies show most people get their orgasm from the missionary position. Okay. Then cowgirl and then rear. Another study showed that Older women, like I said before, like the modified missionary where they're face to face, which is cool, and highly educated women like that position too. Okay, and highly educated women like the missionary position too. Studies show that also. I remember I'm getting this from Donald Lambert and Jesse Quick, the book that I referred to before. If you need that information, let me know. I can send that to you. The most important study, though, does show that when you are having frequent orgasms, meaning you are easily orgasmic, you will prefer the cowgirl position. Okay? So those women that really, really get easy orgasms know that the cowgirl is for them and they can get to that spot real quickly. So that's generally what studies show. For anorgasmic women, women that have a hard time reaching orgasms, the missionary position is the one that people actually get more orgasms from. So even those that don't have an easy time having an orgasm, the missionary still is the way to go because they have the ability to, again, increase their stimulation by getting the cervix, the deep vagina, and the clitoris stimulated all at that one time to improve their chances of getting their orgasm. Okay, so those are the ones that are not easily orgasmic. They prefer the missionary. That's what studies show. Okay, so I just wanted to go through these positions with you for you to know that there are ways to know who is in control, and you've got to know because you're going to stimulate when it's your turn, and then when it's your turn to receive, you're going to expect to actually receive a lot of stimulation so that you can also increase your chances of having that orgasm. So again, if you want to do some more positions, there are so many more to do. Go back to the Kama Sutra book. But for now, just focus on a few that work for you and your partner and enjoy having one of the best orgasms you can have. And incorporate some other ideas, like I've said before, not just the positions, but you put them together, you can have a great, interesting, satisfying time in the bedroom with your partner. Okay, guys? Have a great night. See you next time, which should be tomorrow. Bye.